Hey guys, so if you saw one of my previous videos on this cardboard pantry build that I did, you can click the link up there if you haven't seen it, but I got a lot of good viewers suggestions on how to improve this design, and I'm going to take some of those suggestions and give it a shot. So we're going to take this out and try to see if we could improve upon it even better. But for now, it's been holding up, but it can be better, and I'm going to take some of those your suggestions to make it better. So let's empty the pantry, take everything out, take out the pantry, and reinforce it and make it better, and make it better for condensation on the window side. There's a lot of stuff in there. Let's take this out. Okay, you can see it's not very heavy. We'll weigh it. We'll weigh it. Some viewers asked for a weight comparison, so I'm going to do the improvements first because that's going to add some weight, and then I'm going to weigh it and compare it to my old wood one. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to use a hot glue gun to glue these seams together. We're going to run it down there to all the seams to give it a little bit more structural integrity than just the tape. So of course, ideally I would have used my glue gun on the seams before I put the packaging tape, because now if I put the glue on top of the packaging tape, that's not going to help very much because you're still limited by the packaging tape sticking to the cardboard itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to slice an opening in the packaging tape. So I'm going to ruin my first thing, and then I'm going to shoot some glue into the gaps to make it stronger. And I may or may not put the packaging tape again. I mean, with the glue gun, that might be all I need, and we'll see. Yeah, it kind of hurts to undo what I did. But we want to make it better, right? Alright, so I shot the glue into the corner, so I'm going to press it down, let it dry up. Get some glues dangling already. So I'm going to start taking some more tape off while I'm waiting for that to dry up, and then I'll do the top side. It hurts to take it all off. So now I'm going to do the top side. I can already see it. It's going to be better than just the packaging tape the way I had it. So with the glue and packaging tape, I think it's going to be super strong. All right, it's definitely stronger with the glue. There's no doubt about it. I can feel it. There's no flex like there was with the tape. So now that I have the glue on, I'm actually just going to put on a layer of tape around the whole thing so that it holds it as a loop. So it's going to be even extra stronger. Okay, so next, a couple of viewers talked about the condensation on the window side, and I could just tape it up and put a layer of tape, and that's probably going to do a good enough job because, water's not going to seep through the tape if you have a good enough layer. But I want to try some epoxy. It's something I was thinking about and some viewers suggested, so I'm going to try it, and I'm going to put a layer of epoxy, and I'm going to just compare the difference between when I do use epoxy and when I don't, and it'll help me for when I do my cabinets and my bed, what's the best decision to do. And if it works, I'll buy bulk less expensive epoxy. If you never used epoxy before, it's basically a 1-to-1 ratio for the most part, and one side makes it hard. So make sure you mix it really good. So I'm just going to use a brush. Looks like I'm definitely going to need more. Another nice thing about the epoxy is that, you know, when you put it on the edges and stuff like that, it's going to make everything harder and stronger. So let's mix way more and finish it up. All right, so I have a coat of epoxy on the back, and we're going to see how that holds up. And I'm not going to do the whole thing. I just want to be able to compare. And if I like it, I might do the whole thing. If I don't like it, I won't do the whole thing. Use it for other ones. I don't know. We're going to find out. All right, so this is 5-minute epoxy, and it is kind of dry to the touch, but it's still a little tacky, so I'm going to let it dry out a little bit more. But you could see the shiny film that's on it, so it's going to give it a water protective layer on the window side. So after it dries up, what I'm probably going to do is I'm just going to paint everything, paint the whole thing. See how that goes. So I gave it more time to dry, and it's no longer tacky to the touch, so that's good. If you look at close, there's like a glaze on top of it. And the bare cardboard section, you know, soaked up some epoxy. You know, of course it should. And then the tape, you know, you just kind of goes over it. But, you know, it, for instance, right here, you can see, you know, it actually leaves a nice, really hard coating, so that definitely strengthens the material. There's no doubt about it. So for my future cardboard items, I may want to just use, you know, a cheaper epoxy than what I have. You know, they sell them in bulk, and, you know, it's not a 5-minute epoxy. You know, epoxy that's 5 minutes, it sets in 5 minutes. It doesn't dry in 5 minutes, but, you know, like a 24-hour epoxy or something like that should do. But for now, that's good enough. It's a good test, and I think I learned that I do like the coating that epoxy puts on. But now, I think I'm going to paint this because I think it's ugly. All right, another lesson learned. Semi-gloss paint may stick to cardboard very well, but it does not stick to the packaging tape. So I did paint it, but it's kind of a waste of effort. All right, what a disaster that was, and taking out the paint is not easy, so I'm just gonna stop. I'm gonna leave it like that. I don't care. But the good news is that painting on epoxy coated cardboard, that's actually really good. So if you do want to paint on it, I would suggest putting a coat of epoxy like I did on the back, and that actually gives it a nice, really strong foundation. You know, it tightens up the cardboard, and then you could paint it. Otherwise, don't paint over packaging tape because it'll look like this. Lesson learned. All right, so let's weigh this thing. Okay, so it's 2 pounds and 4 ounces. Let's see how much the cabinet weighs. The wood cabinet, that is. So my wood cabinet, you see, it's not full wood, you know, because I just put the outside. That's all that's necessary. Didn't want to add more weight than I needed. 6 pounds, 8 ounces. So it's, you know, let's say around a third of the weight of the wood. All right, we know for sure that paint sucks on packaging tape, and I'm not going to spend all day scraping this out, so I need a better solution. But I have some old it's vinyl. It's just a vinyl sheet. I think, you know, I had it for cars. But I bet you I could just put a layer and cover up this ugliness. We'll see how that goes, but I'm sure it'll be fine. What's not fine is that I'm not going to clean off all this paint, so it's not going to stick as well as it should. But hopefully it'll stick well enough, because I'm too lazy. Of course, that knob's going to be a problem. It's something you want to do first, but and of course it's not sticking because of that, all that paint. It's not sticking as well as it should, but if I didn't do that, I'm sure it would have been fine. Oh well, it's better looking than that paint. Not much. Next time I'll do a cleaner job. All right, my microphone reset, so I'm going to have to do a voiceover. But let's put everything back in. And, first of all, while I'm doing this, I realized that it's definitely more sturdy than the previous packaging tape only. I mean, I could feel it as I'm pushing it in. It doesn't really give at all. So pushing it in is a little bit harder this time because it doesn't flex as much. All right, there we go. Let's screw everything in. All right, so I got everything back up, and you know what? It is way more stable. It doesn't flex at all anymore. So that's fantastic. I learned gluing is a great way to do it. Packaging tape, not so good. But, if you're in a pinch, packaging tape will do, but glue is way better. Paint on packaging tape sucks. The cardboard is around a third of the weight of wood. Vinyl wrap would be good if you didn't have all this stupid paint that you tried to do, but I may just take it all off, or I might leave it on. I don't know. You could tell it wants to come off, but what can you do? Next time, if I want to paint, I'm not going to use any packaging tape, just glue, and then I'll be able to paint. But even better than that is if I put a thin layer of epoxy, that's probably even better. So I'm going to take these lessons and I'm going to apply it to the cabinet and the bed. And God knows, let me show you how much cardboard I've gathered. So I've been on a cardboard gathering hunt, I guess you could say. But I probably have way too much cardboard now. But if you look over there, it's a sneak peek at a bed that I was able to get free also off OfferUp or Craigslist, one of those things. But anyways, that's going to be on the full-time RV build. I'm going to cut that down to size, but for now, I need to stay focused here on these cardboards. So for now, this pantry is all done. I may try to do a new facade one day, or may just leave it, or I may just tear it off. But right now, the way it's coming off, well, you know what? I'm just going to do it right now. Yeah, see all that paint coming off? It's a terrible idea. Terrible idea to try paint, and a terrible idea not to take off the paint before I put on the vinyl wrap. What can you do? So, you know what that means? It's Miller time. Oops, not Miller time yet. I forgot. I had to put these things back on. And it's all going to hold just fine. This is the only thing I'm a little scared of, because I probably should have left more cardboard and then maybe cut this a little bit lower just to give it more cardboard, or put some epoxy on it or something like that just to make it a little bit harder, but it'll hold. It'll hold. So now it's Miller time.